Hi there, this is Alvin from Dr. Wealth. Recently, there's a big news in the semiconductor industry, and that's related to ASML, a semiconductor equipment provider. And in the Bloomberg headlines, as you can see, it says that ASML suffers the worst day in 26 years. So what exactly happened is because after the results released, ASML stock tanked 16%, 16%. So in this video, we want to figure out what happened and whether this is an investment opportunity for you. So let's start with that fateful day where ASML dropped 16%, and it's not just related to ASML, it actually dragged down the entire semiconductor equipment providers, including Applied Materials was down 11%, KLA Corp was down 15%, and Lam Research was down 11%. So you can see the entire semiconductor equipment industry, the stocks in it were all down. So we can see actually ASML has been very influential, and let's figure out what's happening. Okay, it's definitely related to its results release because this drop happens just after the results were made known to the public. And if we look at the ASML third quarter results, it's not that bad. Sales was about 7.47 billion euro dollars, and net income was about 2 billion euro dollars. Okay, so both these figures have surpassed analysts' estimates, and usually this is good because that means that the company did better than what the assumption or the expectation were. But why did the share price go down? It has got to do with looking forward. Right? The historical results were still good, but looking forward, that's where the problem comes. And the problem is related to China because we know that US have been placing trade restrictions on selling high-end equipment, chip-making equipment to China. And it is now taking effect in ASML financials in terms of its future orders. So let's take a look how big the impact is. And the orders in third quarter came in at about 2.63 billion euro dollars, but the expectation was at 5.59 billion euros. You can see there's a huge gap. The actual numbers were less than half of what was estimated. So this was the key reason why ASML shares went down 16%, because this was really, really way below the expectation. And in terms of China contribution to ASML revenue, as of the second quarter, China contributed 49% of ASML revenue. And that's also because China was trying to rush more orders prior to the ban taking effect. And going forward, the ASML management expect that China's contribution to its revenue will only be about 20%. So again, that's less than half of what it used to enjoy from China's sales. Now, going forward, we're going to see a much less contribution from China. And this is likely going to be the steady state. That means that the major customers that ASML will rely upon would likely be TSMC, Samsung, the major fabrication centers in the world. And this is also another sign that we can see how geopolitics can impact businesses more and more as US and China can't get along well with each other. And it's not just the 16% drop, because the following trading session the next day, it dropped another 6%. So it seems like investors are still digesting the bad news, and they started to see that China's contribution is actually very huge to ASML, and probably some of the shareholders are dumping their shares, causing the share price to go down even further. But before we go into whether ASML is a good investment at this point in time, I want to announce that OF has won the Investment Block of the Year given by the Securities Association of Singapore, or SIAS in short. And I even have the trophy here, right? So thank you for your support, and of course join our Telegram channel. I leave the link in the description box, so you can just click on it and you will be able to join our Telegram channel where you can receive updates about the stock market. So let's continue. So what does ASML actually do? They make this very, very expensive, over $300 million machine. It's called an EUV, or Extreme Ultraviolet Lithography machine. So in order for you to make chips, this is a very important piece of machinery that is indispensable, right? If you want to make especially the high-end chips, ASML machine is a must, right? And this ASML machine is not something that they have built from scratch. What their expertise is to assemble the best parts from different suppliers and put together into a machine. And ASML even say that if you even give the blueprint and as well as all the parts to the engineers, and they will not be able to know how to operate it. Okay? Even their own engineers, they only know a specific part of the entire machinery. It's very complex. It's made out of many, many, many parts from different kind of suppliers out there. Right? So their expertise is in the assembly and putting it together into something that's functional. Right? And this is not really replicable The closest competitors are Nikon and Canon. They're nowhere close to where ASML is in terms of the technology in this EUV machine. So ASML continue to hold a dominating 90% market share according to Morningstar against Canon and Nikon. And the chip designs going smaller and smaller, about 7 nanometer, 5 nanometer, 3 nanometer, and now they're going to 2 nanometers. And you will need this high-end EUV machine from ASML. Right? They are totally irreplaceable, indispensable as part of the semiconductor chip manufacturing process. They also have a backlog of over 30 billion euros, and customers will also have to wait, right? You want a machine, it doesn't mean that they can build it right away for you and deliver next week. You gotta wait 12 to 24 months, and that's like 1 to 2 years, right? So it is very clear that ASML is still pretty much in business, whether China contributes to their revenue or not, right? For all our iPhones, for all the AI servers, for all the GPUs from NVIDIA would need these machines to make the chips for them. So it's very unlikely they're going out of business anytime soon. And another thing that people may not know is they will think that these machines are sold and it's done. Okay, but it comes with maintenance package, and these machines can last for decades. And this maintenance package will continue to run because only the engineers in ASML are able to maintain these machines, and no other like third-party engineers will be able to do it. So they will continue to earn that kind of recurring income. As more machines are installed, the maintenance package revenue will go up as well. So you can see that this is a chart, and I blow it up for you. You can the revenue that comes from the recurring maintenance packages is at the tip of the bar chart, right? So at the top of each bar, and you can see that it grows with over time, right? As more and more machines get installed in fabrication centers, and it is about 20 to 25% of its revenue. So of course, this recurring nature is much better than just selling the machines, okay? But that's it. Selling a machine is also a very high margin business, high in demand. And looking at their net profit margin is at 27%. Right? It's very rare for a manufacturing company, equipment seller, and that shows that they are able to price their machines at very high levels, and clients have nowhere to go but to pay that exorbitant price to ASML, and therefore they enjoy this very fat margin. With more money, they are able to pour more resources into R&D, which Canon and Nikon cannot match up in terms of R&D spend per year. So in that case, ASML is able to push their frontier and continue their leadership for a long time to come. And the ROE, ROA is in double digit as well. So these are very healthy, efficiently run business and highly profitable too. Now let's look at the valuation, the pricing, right? And I'll do one of it in technical side, and another one I will use the more fundamental ranging for us to determine what is a good price, right, for ASML. So for the technical aspect, you can see that it has broken down the support. The critical support is about $766. This is traded in US, so this is in dollars. And the share price has fell below that level. And it has also broke below the sloping or slanting trend line, right? The upward sloping trend line. So all these are very bearish in terms of technical analysis. Okay? It shows that the downtrend is in control and there is no sign of bottoming yet. So that means that there may be some more decline in the short term. Okay, and the next critical support will be about 583.82, right? That is the technical aspect. And if we go to the fundamental aspect, you can typically use financial ratio and do a statistical study over the last 5 years. For example, the P ratio for ASML, the average was around 43 or 44 times its PE. And right now, the P is at 39x, which is below the 44x. So this shows that the stock is already undervalued because the fair value would be at the average, which is 44x. Now it's at 39x. And if we want to be more conservative, right, we can use the -1 standard deviation where the P ratio will be at 36x. Right, so it's just a little bit more. Okay, so it shows that the stock is not expensive. And if we translate that, what does -1 standard deviation of 36 times PE means is share price equivalent to about $636. So which means around this price level may be of interest for long-term investors. And for, of course, the short-term traders, it seems like it still needs some time to find a support, right? It might be too early. Okay, so there may be some more downside to come. And don't forget about the risk, right? Even though this ASML is a good company with very strong moat and technology leadership, but it comes with risk as well, as we have seen, right? The US-China spat have impacted ASML business, even though ASML is a Dutch company, its HQ is in Netherlands, yet America was able to put its influence on Netherlands and then in turn restrict ASML's business in China. So this geopolitical tension is not going to go away anytime soon. There may be more curbs uh, if the current policies could not contain China. So there may be more restrictions imposed on ASML in the future. And second is the business cycles, because at the end of the day, semiconductor business is cyclical. There are boom period, there are bust period. And during the bust period, it may last for many years before it starts to boom again. So there will be these cycles. If you get in the wrong end of the cycle, you might have to wait a bit longer, right? So right now, there is this AI that's powering a lot of this semiconductor demand. Okay, so all is good as of now, but we will not know whether the demand will win once this AI boom gets faded out. All in all, I would say that the ASML is indeed a solid company, and of course, the share price tends to be a lot more volatile. Right? In finance space, it's high beta kind of company. It may not be suitable for some investors where they cannot stomach that kind of large fluctuation in share price value. But also understand there will be some investors who are interested and they may see this big drop in ASML share price as an opportunity to get into the stock. So regardless what type of investor you are, I hope this video has been useful. At least you probably get a better understanding of what's going on. Do like this video, join our Telegram channel, subscribe to this channel as well, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.